Hey, all, it's Joe. John and I are off this week, but I just wanted to jump on real quick and say a couple words about Christophe Clement. Christophe was one of the best horsemen, period, that we've ever had in this business. From a horse evaluation standpoint, you see it from some of the Euros that he brought over to win big races over here, from the yearlings that he grew into classic winners and grade one winners. He knew right away if a horse pretty much could cut it on the racetrack and was going to be a star, or if they needed softer company or maybe needed to be retired and find a second career. He's just as sharp as it gets. And Miguel, his son, is the same way. Also, horse care, he's second to none. Christoph is one of those guys. He's old school, not into medication. Every decision he made was based off the well-being and the welfare of the horse, and that always came first. And I think it's part of the reason that he became such a successful trainer, because he listened to the animal and let them tell him what was going on, if there was something wrong, if they needed diagnostics, if they needed a break or some turnout. He nothing was more important to him than the welfare and the care of the horse. And that's part of the reason that made him so successful. And that's part of the reason that made him so respected in this game. It's not easy to win at the highest levels for as long as he did, while doing things 100% the right way and clean. It was an unbelievable thing to watch him work and watch his team work and be able to evaluate their horses. It was just an absolute pleasure to watch and just to be a small part of at West Point. And that's the last point I want to make. At West Point, we're a public partnership. We've got a lot of people on a lot of different levels that we bring into this game. Some have spent a little, some have spent a lot, but they're all enthusiastic and super excited to be part of this business. And Christoph understood that every step of the way. Every time he was in the paddock, no matter what was going on, if he was having a bad day, he was always pleasant and cordial with the partners and always welcomed them in, thanked them for coming. He was great with communication in terms of sending videos and photo updates. He was the best of a really all-star cast of trainers that we have. And above all, he was just a gentleman and a great guy, funny, charming, obviously a terrific horseman, but just a lot of fun to be around and to learn from. And I think all of us, from all levels of this game, have learned a ton from Christophe Clement. He's got a great successor in Miguel, and he's groomed him to be able to take over this stable. And Miguel's a really sharp guy. And I just want to extend my deepest condolences to Miguel and Acacia and Charlotte and Valerie and the rest of the Clement family. Christophe was gone way, way too soon. I was talking to my wife Megan about this, and I was thinking it's so sad that he worked so hard his whole life and he didn't really get to enjoy the retirement that he might have had in a little bit and just kick up and enjoy the fruits of his labor. And she said to me, well, maybe he doesn't feel that way. Maybe he feels like he lived his life the best way and the most fulfilling way possible, even if that was getting up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, 7 days a week to go check on the horses. And then I looked at Christophe's last post and his farewell message, and she was right. He said that he's never worked a day in his life. And that's just a remarkable, admirable thing to feel for someone who's worked so hard for so long. And he did it. He did it with class. He did it with style, and he did it with the horse in mind all the time. So rest in peace, Christophe Clement. Condolences to everybody he touched in this life. And I know that's a lot of people who will sorely, sorely be missed.